All right, guys, I cannot believe how much I have sweat today. Golly, it just rolls. I can't get it to stop. So anyway, I started working on the dog leg because I've got my floor pan piece here cut out for the passenger side floor. I've got the grid marked for the beads to be done, but I'm going to wait until I can get my wife to run the hand crank there for me while I feed it through. So I tried to set the camera up on a tripod and do a video going through all this, and next time I turn around it's like 26 minutes in, and the camera, when I import my videos to my computer, if it's like 17 minutes it cuts it off. So I just deleted it. So I'll just run you through here what I'm trying to do, you know, trying to do all this stuff and try to video it. It's kind of it's a little too much, basically, for me. So I'll run you through what I'm doing here. Now, I'm not doing an exact replacement the way they did it. I am going to do it custom and make sure it's better than what it was. What I did, now my panel was mostly here. It just had rust holes everywhere, so a lot of it was here. So I had something to pretty well go off of, but that's, you know, what I had to work with. This piece has fell over, but anyway, that was in there pretty much like that. Now it had the flange and everything, and I drilled the spot welds out. And at that point, before I did anything, I went in here and I wiped this down real good with a rag. And then I took masking tape and I put several layers of masking tape over this whole area, all over it. Burnished it with my finger, you know, rubbed it down in there real good, all over. Then I took a Sharpie right here, and I followed every line that was on that. Down in there, this one, I mean, this has got a pretty little intricate area in it. Anyway, at that point, I pulled the masking tape off. Now, if you just did one layer, when you pulled it off, it's going to stretch out, and when you lay it down and stick it to a piece of steel to draw it out, it's not going to be shaped right. So I do several layers. So anyway, at that point, I cut it out with a razor blade everywhere I drew with a Sharpie. And the other thing I did was I took and I put these little grid marks here, one there, just kind of random. And then on the other piece on the side, which, this is hard to do one-handed. Anyway, those pretty much match up. You can see where I drew them on this, and they match up to those. So when I traced this out, stuck it to a piece of steel, and I trimmed it out, drew it out. When I drew around that with a Sharpie, I put a little mark there, a little mark there, a little mark there, a little mark, a little mark there. Then I pulled it away, and then I drew my lines in there. I did that on all the pieces. So that way, when I had all the pieces cut out and I smoothed up the edges, I fired up the welder, and I just lined up them lines to each other and welded it up. And it pretty well went in there, although I did screw up, and I knew I did when I was cutting it out with a cutoff wheel. But I ended up cutting this end away. But I'm going to end up fully welding this in anyway. It's not going to be something like factory was with spot welds. I'm going to fully weld all of this in here. I'm going to do plug welds too, but anyway, so this will be fully welded right here, and then I'll roll the edge. So what I did to weld that piece to that piece, just went through there and did tack, 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 tack until it was fully tacked. And then I went in there and rolled it with the, you know, grind to get the edge. You can kind of see on the back side there where I did all the welds on it, but it has a little bitty piece there. Now, the way the factory done this, which is why I'm going to do it different, this right here was cut out like that. That's the way the factory piece was, and then this piece here. So they had the piece just behind it. What I did was trimmed it out to where it will fit right up to that, and I'm going to butt weld all this and grind it smooth. So that little area right there will end up being like that. So I'm going to butt weld all this and then go back and grind it. But anyway, I'll butt weld that up there. I'll have to butt weld this. Actually, I had a little rust hole up here, so I probably should have trimmed it further, but I'll go in there and put a little patch up there. But anyway, I'll just fill this piece with weld, but I'll do some plug welds in this as well. But there is a lot of work I got to do in here first. This is going to have to be capped. Like, I'm going to have to cut this out, build a cap in here, go in here and weld it all in and grind it smooth. This back reinforcement is going to have to be all hand fabricated and rebuilt. and then put in, and then there's a piece back here that's got to be done. I mean, this is an intricate area to try to do all this yourself. So if I had the money, I would probably buy it, since all this crap is so bad, but you know, I don't, so I'm going to build it. But man, that thing was rusty. I can see why they rusted out from the factory. It's kind of a dumb way that they done this on a 4-door. You know, it has this channel up in here and all these areas for water to get in behind and just start rusting stuff. So what I may do is take some strips of steel and cut them out where they kind of fit up in here real good, and drill a bunch of holes in the piece I'm cutting out, and I will plug weld it and build like a cover to go up here to basically cover that. So I'll weld it up here and down like this up against, and then I'll go in there and seam seal it. So after this is undercoated, it would kind of look like a factory piece, because this is overlapped over this from the factory, so I don't think it'll be that noticeable. Now I'm going to repair all the rust first, but I'm just saying that's what I think I want to build in there to keep this from rusting out again on somebody. This car will live a hell of a lot longer than I will, so try to do the best I can without, you know, spending any money. But man, what an intricate area. I was dreading it too. I have the ones I've torn into in the past haven't been this bad. It's mainly just been the small little areas, but I've never had one where all this was all wasted too. So thank goodness the other side's good, but this side is junk, man. But anyway, once you do all your tape, you know, and you cut out all them pieces separately with a razor blade where you drew all your Sharpie lines on there, I ended up doing one piece, this in one piece, and then just did a little sliver down in there. But that is pretty much how I did it. But, you know, it's not perfect, but it gets the job done. And I know I have an accurate line here coming down, because this is where your door seal, your rubber door seal rides, so this has to be accurate, so your door will seal. But anyway, what a mess, man. I think haven't decided yet. This is a pretty soft edge on this, pretty broad, I guess. This is still kind of sharpish, so I may have to go back in here and do tack after tack after tack all the way down, and then go back and radius this more. But I'm gonna have to put material in behind it to get it to build it up, so when I grind into it, it's still metal, you know. But it'll end up fitting. But man, what a mess. I'm just glad it's close to being over. I mean, I got at least all this side's pretty much done. I still have to finish the trans tunnel. I haven't done any of that, but I was trying to figure out what to do since I couldn't roll the beads in my floor pan, and I figured, well, hell, I'll just do the dog leg there. But man, I'm telling you, I'm irritated. The sweat is just non-stop rolling. I went in and changed my shirt to this tank top, and man, still doesn't do much good. Of course, I have to put on a long sleeve you know, welding jacket when I'm grinding and welding, so I don't burn up my arms and stuff. But I got all this cleaned up. I don't remember if I showed that in one of the other videos or not. I got all this all cleaned up. I still need to prep all that brace down inside. But anybody needs a good used deck lid for an 80 Regal, I've got a really super clean one right there. Super nice. Even have a super mint floor pan for a 55, 6 or 7 if you need it. It's free, actually. You can come get it for free. Or you can give me 10 bucks for it if you want. Anyway, guys, I guess that's about it. I've got as you can see, a giant mess out here. Probably about time to take my dog out to use the bathroom, and I need something to drink. So thanks for watching.